Normally when something comes in, I hang on to it and make a mailbag video about it. This one came in just this week and I couldn't wait. So I'll put the sort of mailbag part of it up here so you can see me pulling it apart and going ooh and ah when it arrived. But basically what it's about is a shield for an Arduino Uno, which allows you to program 3 chips. So you put the chips in the old ZIF socket here, plug it in there, the shield sits on there. Pretty ingenious idea actually. And what I normally do is that I normally program like 1 chip at a time using this old AVR ISP adapter. Here's the bit that sticks into the computer, and I've been doing it happily away, and it's fine actually for what I need. But if you did want to do more, I was just curious as to how this one works to do 3 at a time. So I've got some ATTiny85 chips and I've got some ATTiny13 chips. So first thing I'll do is I will solder them up onto SOP to DIP adapters on here, and then I'll solder this adapter board up here, the shield, and then we'll see if we can't program them. It's a pretty cool idea. That's all the headers done. And now what I normally do is just tack one corner of the little microcontroller. So I just lay down a strip on one of these tracks of a little bit of solder and then put the corner leg onto that. And then you can do any adjustments that you need to do. Let's start with the ATTiny85s. So this guy here, and it's got a, if I can get it up the right way. Yeah, so there's the mark indicating pin 1, and then you can see the same mark here on this corner. So I've orientated these all the same way. So I'll just turn this guy around and try not to flip him off into the distance. We'll start with the N one, I guess. This guy's much better. Better tweezers, actually. These are bent ones, so I just tend to find it's a bit easier with these ones. There we go. All right, so try and get in the right spot to start with this time. And, oh, that's still a bit grungy. It looks about right. Yeah, pretty good. Maybe just move it over a smidgen. I don't know how much of a perfectionist you should be when it comes to this sort of mucking around, but I do like them all to line up. And that looks beautiful. Let's have a look at it under the light, and we'll see if that's lining up nicely. So let's have a look. Yeah, see how they all, yeah, that is lovely. And then the rest should tack in okay. I'll go to the other side. You can use some flux if you like, but I'm using solder that already has flux in it. There you go. It's all pretty straightforward then. And on this side, nice. There's the original one. And then what I can do is again just check to see how those connections are. And we've got, that's the wrong one. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, let's get the others done. all seem to go pretty well, except for that first one, which is often annoying. But yeah, pretty straightforward after that. I'll just mark where that pin 1 is. It just helps when I'm orientating them for programming with old eyes, just to mark on the chip with a bit of liquid paper as to where that is. And yeah, that looks good. So I can see all those quite clearly. Alrighty, so now we're going to build this one here. So I think probably the best way to build it is to build it actually on the Uno. So we need 4 pins and 4 pins. So let's grab these 4. I don't know if you have a look in the original video when I was cutting off 4 pins. This is the sped up version. That one of them has careered off into God knows where. So anyway, I'll find that in the years to come somewhere. So what do we need? We need, we're going to be in reset, 5 volts, 3.4 volts, and ground on one side, and 13, 12, 11, and 10 on the other side. So that there. And if we do this right, so there's reset, there's 3.3 volts, 5 volts, and ground. Yeah, that should be right. Then this should just sit nicely over the top of it, theoretically. So let's see if that works. Yep, look at that, drops in there nicely. Very good. So I'll just tack one corner. Yeah, so if we actually do all of this while it's on the actual Uno, we shouldn't have any trouble getting it on or off there after. That'll be orientated correctly. And then we've got these guys on the other side. And then we'll just put on the other components. And there's not much to it really. There is apart from the socket, there is the normal 10 microfarad capacitor you have between reset and ground. So that's this guy here. And then you've got there's just an indicator light really. So an LED and a current limiting resistor for the same. So yeah, that looks pretty good. So now if we just take that off, yeah, that should be fine. Let's go with the resistor. So I've just got, I think this one is a 470. I should probably check that. Let's pop that in the tester. And I think the tester is actually another item which I've got, and I should be probably doing a mailbag on, but I just couldn't wait. So I've just actually 470. Look at that. So I've just actually opened it up, and yeah, at some point in the future, maybe it'll appear in a mailbag, or maybe more likely I'll just put it up here somewhere so you can have a look at me taking it out of the package. But yeah, very nice tester. Thank you, Pile of Stuff, by the way, who's a very bad influence on me, because I think this is one that he was looking at. By the way, we might as well have a look at our 10 microfarad capacitor while we're here. And tester says, yep, 10 microfarad, pretty cool. And you can actually test the LEDs on here as well. It should just flash a little bit. There it goes. And it says it's a diode, so that's fine. So everything seems to be working fine. Alrighty. So let's put the resistor in and get that soldered in. And we'll leave the ZIF socket to last. Now I normally have got a little clip for this. Good one. Okay. So what shall we get it to program? Well, I'm thinking that we'll get it to do something like an RGB. Yeah, that looks good. That looks very good. It's a bit of rock and roll going backwards and forwards, and I guess you could stabilize it. I mean, they've got these cutouts here, and you could stabilize it by continuing along and maybe putting a pin here and a pin here, but it's still pretty good. All right, let's try some programming now, and yeah, we'll get an RGB from, let's say, 3 lines out of here, and yeah, just flashing in a particular sequence, and we'll get all the chips programmed up. That'll look pretty cool, I reckon. Let's do it. Right, so let's put this guy on and put some chips in there and see if it actually works. Line this up 13, 12, 11, 10, and then on the other side. Oh, okay. So I did use a nice blue light. That's surprised me. So I think it's just 4 in a row. It just keeps going. So it might get a little crowded actually. Let's just see how we go. So that's, I might push that down. That's the first one, and then directly behind it, where are we in this orientation? So, yep, directly behind it is here. Oh, that's awkward. And then will we fit in the next one? Yeah, that's almost not going to fit in there, I don't think. Let's just have a look. I think, yeah, if I was designing this, I might, because we're going to end up with a couple of sockets left over. Oh, that's very tight. I don't know if that middle, oh yeah, they all seem like they're in. Look at that. If you can see it from the side here, it's pretty crowded in there. Yikes. And look, 2 sockets left over, or 2 slots left over at the end. So I think if I was redesigning this, I would push that back to allow a little bit of room. But the main thing is, does it work? So let's go to, just make sure that we've got everything connected here, and we've got Arduino as ISP. It all looks good, so I'll just make sure the bootloaders are all good. The bootloaders are done, and then we will compile and upload. There's no indication on the board really that anything's happening, but it does say done uploading, so that's nice. Yeah, that's very crowded in there. So the next thing now is to put them on a breadboard and see if that program has actually worked. And the program is just it's just red, green, and blue output of an RGB, and then they should just go on and off in sequence with half a second delay between. So yeah, let's try that and see if it actually has uploaded those 3 very crowded chips. Here with the ATTiny85s lined up, we've got VCC coming in on pin 8 for each of them, and ground coming out on pin 4. And then I've just got a common anode RGB on each of them. So we've got pin number 5, 6, and 7, which is PB0, 1, and 2 respectively, should give us red, green, and then blue. And then they all just feed out, and then via this wire, just a common 220 ohm resistor, which is not the way to do it, but this is just testing, isn't it? So let's just find out if it's going to blow up or do what it's supposed to do, which is flash gloriously. Let's see how we go. Red, green, and blue. Nice. Well, it looks like the first 2 are keeping time reasonably well, but this guy is, what would you say, a little ahead? Yeah, a little ahead of the time. That's interesting. And these 2 are bang on. I think I did burn the bootloaders for all of them, so there should be internal 8 megahertz, but I guess it's just variations in the timing of the chip. But yes, I would say that that is proof of success. Let's get the ATTiny13s lined up in there and see if they can also do something similar. So we have our awkward arrangement of ATTiny13s in there. And first thing we'll do is burn the bootloader. So we've got it at 1.2 megahertz internal, so we'll burn that. And yep, that looks as though it's done that fine. And then we'll go to upload, cross fingers and toes, done uploading. Excellent. So I'll just pull these guys out one by one. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, sorry about the rocking there. Let's just kill this first. Yeah, so I might pull them out one by one, and then we will just replace them and see if they're going to do the same thing as the ATTiny85. So release from your prison, and we'll just pull these guys out. Should be the same organization. So that's an 85 out and a 13 in. Nice. And an 85 out and a 13 in. Yep, that looks good. And then an 85 out and a 13 in. Nice. And I was about to say that they're maintaining their time a little bit better, but not so much. Anyway, that is the circuit working for this week. Pretty glorious little shield, a lot of fun, but I would probably rewire it so it goes 4 space, 4 space, and then the last 4. And I think that would make a bit more sense just for that crowding. Other than that, that's been a bit of fun. Catch you next time.